on, you guys. Don't tune out on me yet. Customer acquisition. What do we do to get our customers? And you want to know what? They made it easy for us with this product. Okay. My personal opinion is there has never been anything that much more easier for me to talk about. Do you like to make money? Do you like to know skill sets that teach you how to make money? There's been nothing easier for me to have a conversation about. Then there's keeping customers. Now here's where you have to level up. Here's where you have to level up. Here's where you have to have your wisdom hat on. And we got to ask ourselves, what keeps customers? What keeps customers? There's only two things. There's only two things in the world. The good news is that the first one you probably already did when you signed them up, and that's relationship building. Building a relationship. I've done this enough times to know that my kitchen conversations, my kitchen table conversations make more of an impact than my stadium talks. I've been in the room in a stadium in front of 20,000 people speaking, and I've also been at people's kitchen tables. Keep yourself humble. Stay relatable. Don't be too good to have a kitchen table conversation, because I've had kitchen table conversations with people in my organization that are absolutely going Chairman 100. Relationships is the only thing that's residual in this industry. Got it? Relationships are the only thing that'll pay you forever in this industry. Don't start smelling yourself too much. I love you. I want what's best for you. I'm telling you, in the end, relationships matter. The second thing is what we got to spend some energy on tonight. This second thing is creating value. Now, here's the thing. Our company has already done an amazing job at positioning a product and teaching us how to use it. And anyone that engages, any one of you that actually engages with our product, can very quickly articulate where the gold is in our product, right? Where the highlights are, our flagship content, our flagship softwares. If you're engaged, you can probably articulate where the value is. But here's what happens when we get into a world of trading. We do what every other new trader does. We hit one moment of frustration, and instead of leveling up and pushing through, we go look for the next best thing. And can you imagine that the very thing that our customers will leave us to go look at are things that you and I introduce them to? Come on now. I'm here to have a 7-figure conversation with you. I've done it too. Think about it. I want them to leverage the product. I want them to use our training wheels, as I call it, which is our software, our harmonic scanner, our web analyzer, our back, our swipe trades, our swipe coin, our pivot scanner, our level scanner, our binary options. I want them to leverage a product. I want them to have training wheels. Why, Wanda? Because you just want them to be hooked on a product for the rest of their life? No, because I want them to trade safely, and I want them to trade consistently. And do you know what is consistent? A software. Do you know what is not consistent? The Instagram trader on your team that you're promoting. The private telegram with your friend who's been trading for 6 months and now they're a master trader and they're giving signals. That's not consistent. That hurts people. Because when your friend starts feeling themselves and they decided they want to create a website, and all of a sudden they have a business and they want to actually try to compete with what Chris Terry has been working on for decades, and they're feeling themselves a little bit. Now we're thinking, dang it, I actually introduced my team, my customer base to that problem. I promoted that problem. And one of the things I had to learn was getting my customers on a product, consistently using a product, was the safest thing I could ever do for their trading journey, because software is consistent. Men and women are not. Men and women are not. Men and women get in their emotions. Men and women sleep in when they're tired. Men and women lie and fabricate their income. Software is consistent. The safest thing, the best thing you can do for someone you love, who you want them to have a powerful trading journey, is to plug them into a system. System is an acronym. It stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. Save yourself time, energy, and money. The best thing you can do is right now pick a product that you enjoy, that you're using, that you can articulate, and stick with it for the next 90 days. I dare you to have one conversation in the world of trading. Quit being so short-sighted that you have to go from this to that, to this, to that, to this, to that. I love everything our company has to offer, but there's nowhere written that you're supposed to be using every single software program all day, every day from sleep to wake. No. I heard a professional say once that people learn in terms of chunking information. Chunking information. How many of you, when you got started with iMarkets Live and you logged in and you saw everything available to you, there was a moment of being overwhelmed? Holy cow. How many educators? How many products? I know. I'll use them all and I'll watch them all. And how many of you can say that failed you? Too much. Too much. What we have to do is we have to chunk our system, guys. We got a powerful product, but we've got to teach people how to use it the right way. Do you remember when you first drove a car? Didn't it feel like a lot was going on? You have to get in the car. Then you have to remember, okay, turn it on. Okay, keep my foot on the brake while I'm turning it on. Okay, put it in reverse. Let me check my mirror, check my rear view. Is my belt on? Is there anyone behind me? Okay. Okay, now I can turn the AC and the radio on. Do you remember? It seemed like so much was happening when you were learning to drive. But now when you get in the car, you can be on your phone, yelling at the kids, get in the car, reverse, do your thing. In fact, you end up being places thinking to yourself, how did I get here? Because now you are unconsciously competent. That's where we want people to get. We want people to get unconsciously competent. Because first, they're consciously incompetent. They have no idea what they're doing and they know it. Okay? We want to get them to consciously competent, which means that they don't have to think about it. At first, it feels like so much is being thrown at our customers. Me too, guys, me. So here's what we did to go from Chairman 10 to Chairman 25, clean. I don't lose ranks. I'm not going backwards. I didn't come here to lose money. I'm moving forward to the next one. We had to find a way to create a system that highlighted the product. Guys, if you're not highlighting the product, you're working against yourself. I'm warning you right now. I love every single one of you. Guess what? I got amazing traders on my team too. They know I love them. They know I got their back. They know I'll fight for them. That's my family. But I will not allow us to create an unsafe environment and get customers hooked on a person. We got to get them hooked on a system because systems are reliable. So even my wonderful traders, I love you. But if you're promoting just yourself, guess what? You created a job. You can't even take your family on a vacation. You can't even enjoy walking away from your phone for a few hours because you've created a job for yourself. Let me get rid of that job. Let me get rid of that job for you. Let's leverage the system. You can still provide value. You can still train people, but you didn't come here for a job. If you're an excellent trader, leverage the product and let the product do its job. Too many wonderful traders having conversations about what a pip is. I know you're tired of that. I know you want to tell them about IML Academy Basics, so do it. Quit creating a job. Promote the product. And for those of you, you know I'm telling the truth. Maybe you've promoted one particular trader who is or isn't, who's probably worse, not even an IML educator. Maybe you've been plugging your people into free signals on Telegram because that's what you think they need. I get it, guys. I did it too. But every time I deviated away from the product, I saw it in my numbers. I go, what does this mean? What does this mean? It means that people are going to do the least in hopes of getting the most. That's human nature. People are going to do the least in hopes of getting the most. We have to understand that about human nature, and we have to speak to it. We have to know how to leverage it. So here's how I leverage it. I make it simple. I'm plugging them into IML Academy. I am not a master trader, and even when I become one, you probably won't know. I want you to be hooked on something that's reliable. I'm not reliable. I like to go on vacations in places that they don't have no Wi-Fi. I want you to be able to trade when I'm gone. I want you to be able to trade when I feel like sleeping in. I want you to be able to trade when I'm in a country that I can't even pronounce. So I'm not going to get you hooked on me. I'm going to get you hooked on something that's reliable. This billion-dollar system that Chris Terry created. So here's what it sounds like. Builders, take notes. The program starts like this. 137-1430. 137-1430. 137-1430. These are the phases a customer goes through before it's time for them to consider making that monthly payment, because we don't want to work backwards. Day one, the only thing that I'm introducing them to is to the community, their broker, and MetaTrader. I'm going to show them how to plug into their product. I'm going to show them how to find their iMarkets Live community. That's likely going to be iMarkets Live official Telegram, iMarkets Live elite Facebook page, and whatever communications are dire, absolute necessary for them to be plugged in to real leadership in our team. For me, that means chairman and above. Okay. If you are the leader and you're a P5000, awesome. Start acting like a chairman. Definitely they need it. First day, all we're talking about is community and product. Okay. We're going to show them how to figure out the broker demo. We're starting there, and we're going to show them how to link it to the trader app. We're starting there. How many of you know people who were so overwhelmed with how to make a broker account? That's what took them out of trading. Insane to think that the barrier to entry on their dream life was that low, but it's true. So we handle it day one. Day one, broker, MetaTrader, connected. Here's your product and your community. That's it. Phase 3. All I'm asking them to do is watch the basics. Now, my builders don't like this. Let me tell you why. Because builders in the first 72 hours, we want to put sales in the system. Me too, baby. Trust me. And I know the people that are going to do that already are likely going to do it without me, because that's in their blood. But for the 99% of the people we're talking to, we're having a conversation with, they still need to believe in something. So in the first 72 hours, when they're the most coachable, why are they the most coachable? Because that money came fresh out their account. They're still arguing with their spouse about why they joined. That's why they're the most coachable. They got a point to prove. They saw that money fresh out the account. They're like, 325. Elite package, I'm gonna do whatever she says. They're still coachable because the money came out their account. So by day 3, here's what I require from them. Basics done. Basics done. Why? Because they're about to go into this trading world, y'all. And they need to know how to keep themselves safe. I always compare it to nursing. When I became a nurse, my 8 weeks into my program, they had me in the hospitals. And I was like, whoa. I'm not ready to be responsible for somebody's life. I just decided I wanted to be a nurse, but I had underestimated my training. See, I knew what it looked like if somebody couldn't breathe. I knew what it looked like if somebody was in distress. I knew who to call, and I knew at least how to yell cold blue down the hallway if someone wasn't responsive. So I knew enough to keep myself and my people, my patients, safe. If you go through the basics, you now know enough to keep you and anyone who else starts safe. It's enough to keep you safe in the world of trading. That's what we need. They're the most coachable. They're way more likely to listen to me. They're going to finish those basics by day 3. Second phase, 7. This is day 4 to 7. I'm introducing them to a product. A product. If they purchase Elite, awesome. Guess what? They're naturally going to dig through that on their own time. That's what people do. You don't have to baby walk them through every product. People will find it. But I'm going to pick a product, and I'm going to introduce them to a product. And I'm just going to put a selfish plug out there. I love Webb Analyzer. Stephen Hooley, that's my man, okay? I see his vision with Webb Analyzer. I appreciate Webb Analyzer. I am a product of Webb Analyzer. I grow my account on average, even on a lazy week, 15%, on a better week, 45%, trading 3 days a week, 2 hours a morning on Webb Analyzer. You can't even do that with the best rental properties. Not in my world. I respect trading. I love Webb Analyzer. My team, we focus on Webb Analyzer. And because we focus, because leadership is focused, the organization is focused, customer base is focused, guess what's happening to people's trading journey? Consistent results. Because there's consistent behavior. A confused mind does nothing. A confused mind paralyzes and does nothing. Day 4 to 7. All right, we're back. Thank you guys for waiting with me. Thank you guys for being on the line. We're back. Next phase, day 7 of 14. Day 7 of 14, we're not 2 weeks into using the same product. We're not introducing them to people who've been trading for 3 months on Telegram. We're not highlighting nothing else. These are babies. They need to be fed baby food. And we're going to hook them onto one product. So in my organization, that happens to be Web Analyzer. And I love it because there's multiple strategies. So they feel like they're getting a lot of flavor anyway. Web Analyzer, day 7 of 14, in and out of trades. I'm asking this question every week. Hey, girl. Hey, my man. Did you make money this week? Did you trade this week? Awesome. What did it look like? Awesome. How do you feel? Next phase, day 14 to 30. This is my favorite phase because now people are feeling confident. They have new language. Who are you? Walking around talking about pips and leverage and lot sizes and 90-day trade sheets. Who are you? You're a brand new person. They're feeling themselves. They have belief in trading. They've been taking signals off IML TV. They have an educator they like. They know about the next event. They are in this community. And what happens during this final phase, day 14 to 30, confident people are people who are talking to other people about what they're doing. They might even be live. They might even be live playing with baby lot sizes. Day 14 to 30. And I'm still celebrating it. I'm still asking them, are you making money? How are your trades going? Did you get live on this morning with Dr. K? Were you live on this morning with this educator? Were you live on this morning with our team training? I'm asking them. I'm keeping them engaged. Here's what happens. You do that by day 30. They're not considering making their payment. They're absolutely wanting to make their payment. They're calling you, hey, make sure this comes out. Hey, my payment didn't come out. I need your help. Creating a system that's product driven. Listen, I'm not here to bash anything you got going on. I'm not here to change up your world. If what you got is happening and it works and it's sustainable and numbers are going in the right direction, keep doing that. But from my experience, there's been a lot of people saying, how did you hit Chairman 25 when a lot of other ranks aren't really being popped? And it's the thing that we focused on was staying hooked on the product. I am a product of the product. No, I don't want to be in your signals group. No, I don't want to be in your Telegram group. No, I don't want to follow your favorite non-IML educator on Instagram. When I said yes to this, I said yes to Chris Terry's system and Chris Terry's vision, period. You might say that's being closed-minded, but my wealth mentors, my seven-figure mentors tell me that real decision makers are focused. They know exactly what they want. And what I want is to be a product of this system. It's working. I'm not here to make income claims, but I'm here to tell you my team is making money. They love trading. And people who are making money are telling people about the money they made. Our team's growing. And I'm so happy and grateful that I figured it out early enough in the game. Learn from our lessons, okay? Learn from our lessons. I dare you to be consistent. We've got 97 days left until the I Am convention in Dallas, Texas. I am focused. I am product-based. I am driving customers in the right direction. I am creating such sustainable value, so much focus that brand new traders are coming in. They're feeling amazing in their first week. They're feeling confident in their second week. And they're feeling like talking and opening their mouth by third week because they're making money. They're having fun. They got what they came for. Create value. Real builders talk about the product because we understand what drives numbers in the right direction. It's never corny to be product focused because that's what keeps volume going the right direction. Now, the next 30 minutes, what we're going to do is we're going to shift gears here just a sec, okay? We talked to you about what it looks like to really focus on your customer base. Now I want to talk to you about how you talk to your leadership. Now, this is where if your nose ain't bloody yet, it's going to get bloody. I love you. You are a Chairman 1000. You need to recognize. We're going to talk to you as if. This second part, my husband is going to show you how he stayed system focused, edifying leadership, really focusing on leadership. They'll expose themselves, pouring into them so that they can lead the masses. Jesus loved the 5,000, but he focused on the 12, and he is the greatest network marketer of our time. So I'm going to shift this over to my business partner. Many times my mentor, when my head's not in the game the right way, he gets on me, and vice versa, I get on him. We were just in the hotel yelling at each other, hyping each other up. Our neighbors probably thought some other activities were happening, but we were in here ministering to each other. No, you're a Chairman 1000. No, you're a Chairman 1000. You lead leaders. You lead leaders. And so I want to give that same energy to you. I want to pretend that we're still sitting at that CEO table. I want to introduce you to a man who is system driven, who's leadership driven, who he has more invested in him in terms of leadership than anyone else I know in this world. My husband, my business partner, your newest Chairman 25, Mr. Randy Webb.
What's going on, IML? What's good? What's good? What's good? Oh, man, we got a lot of folks on this call. So I'm just keep this short and sweet, just to show you the system and what we've done and the experience and give you every step that you need. So absolutely excited. What's going on, everybody? My name is Randy Webb. Background, I used to be a C-130 pilot in the Air Force, and I'm grateful for it because I realized that those stepping stones provided me with the leadership that I have today. So I remember when I joined the Air Force back in early, 1999, 2000, young enlisted airmen. I want you to think about this for all those serving on here. You understand, in the military, you come in enlisted, right? No degree, born and raised in Compton, California. The reason I went to the military because I didn't have anything going on in my life. And I remember my first job in the military was I was a sim driver. What that means, I was simulating being a pilot. And so what happens, all my friends, we were all, let's talk about friends. Most of us, we identify our friends because of proximity. And so my friends were my friends because of proximity. So I was friends with other sim drivers. We are who we hang around. But I remember one day stepping outside of that comfort zone and saying, I wanted to become a pilot. And I told my friends, and I remember they laughed and said, man, you've never flown an airplane before. And they started talking about all the things that couldn't be done. You know, I was just reading not Rich Dad Poor Dad Again, but Think and Grow Rich Again. And they were saying people always go to shift to what can't be done versus how can I get it done. And I remember saying, I want to be a pilot. I remember watching guys and girls walk around the base with flight suits. I remember asking, I want to become a pilot. It looks like they run the base. Those are the generals. Those are the commanders. And I started dreaming. And today my goal is to show you how to start dreaming and accomplishing what you want. Because I believe we got to the level that we're at today because of that. And so my first job in the Air Force, sim driver. I voiced what I wanted to become. And then I went after, I had to have my degree, finish my degree while I was in. In the midst of all that happening, I had others that had not accomplished it. But what I learned is I need to get around the people that had already done it. So I started putting myself in conversations with other pilots, putting myself in situations where I have to talk to pilots and learn what they did. See, we have the luxury in network marketing to put ourselves around people who make way more money than we have, or way more money than we ever earned in our life. You got the David Imanites, the Jason Browns, the Matt Roses. Imagine, get in those circles, hear the conversations. Your world will change. You are the sum total of the 5 friends you hang around the most. So I'm going to talk about just kind of the dreaming and what got me to the next level. Okay. And what I'll tell you, one thing that I've learned is during the points of major struggle is when that breakthrough comes. You'll hear us say, anytime there's a correction, there's always going to be a continuation. Whoa. Anytime there's a correction, there's always going to be a continuation. Your back office is acting up on you. It's correcting on you. Don't worry. There's going to be a continuation that's going to happen in your life. And I'll tell you, in this business, so 6 years ago, we started our network marketing journey. And I do the parallels between being a pilot and our network marketing journey. Because becoming a pilot, it was a struggle. And I remember being told no by the chief of the Air Force that they weren't cutting back on pilots. But had I accepted, I would have burned out and not accomplished my dream. But I didn't accept that no. I knew there was other levels. And I remember just consistently thinking about it. And because I thought about it all the time, it happened. Now it's bigger than that because it takes action that follows it. And so I'm going to talk about the action that's required for you to build this business. Yes, struggle is going to happen. Yes, correction is going to happen. But one thing I've always been able to fall back on is anytime that you have a system in place, that's it. So let's talk about this. You know, we started our journey 6 years ago in network marketing, our first company. And when I seen the comp plan, all I knew was I wanted to make $1 million in 1 year. That was my first goal. I wanted to make $1 million in 1 year. No experience whatsoever. But when I joined, I was they call that I was on fire. Ignorance on fire. I was telling all my friends. We put a lot of folks in the system. I didn't know what I was doing. And so I'm going to talk about this system because I had a mentor show up who guided me through that process. And that same system I've now taken and literally multiplied across the globe Where in our last organization, we put in over 35,000 customers. When we made the switch over here, we just decided to go fast. Chairman in 60 days, Chairman 25 in 16 months. No favors, no spillover, just numbers. And all it took was duplication. See, today I'm going to talk about multiplication versus addition. That's it. Multiplication versus addition. You heard my wife say system stands for save yourself time, effort, and money. We're going to talk about how to save yourself time, effort, and money. So what I believe is confusion causes stagnation. And it's very easy to get confused in what we have because we have so many products. So you heard my wife talk about the Webb Analyzer. Our team uses the ECC11 strategy. You can use whatever you want when training, but just find some product that you can use for your team and stay focused on that one product. So we decided to stay focused on one product and push it. Something easy to teach. Now I went through the academy. I went through everything. I learned market structure. I learned how to trade. You know, when I first came in, my goal was, because I had already networked, was to come in, put a gang of people in the system, get the chairman 100 within the first 3 months. But I think the guy had another plan for me. See, in that process, I realized during my correction phase, I had to learn how to trade. I had to learn a system so that I can teach other people. That may not be your story. You might already have a system in place that maybe your upline has already done. That's even better because you don't have to create it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to duplicate it. But we're going to talk about if you don't have that. You're day one. Maybe you're your first 2 months in. You don't have an upline who's really teaching you something. I'm going to teach you how to put a system in place so that you can start from 0 to 500, 0 to 1250. And the first is to focus on the one thing. And so in trading, whatever that product is, whether you're using the Gold Cup, the ECC11, the Webb Analyzer, whatever that is, I want you to focus on that one thing. So when you get people started, you heard my wife talk about 1, 3, 7, 14, 30. In those phases, just have a routine that you go through and everybody does the same system. Because in creating a team, there are certain phases that has to happen. You know, in the military, we had Airman Leadership School, and they had, when you form a team, there are 4 steps that you have to understand that you're in. And when you understand the steps that you're in as a team, you can consistently grow. There was forming, there was storming, and then there was norming and performing. When you go through that phase there, when growing your team, I'm going to talk about those phases. When growing a team, you understand how you're progressing. Your goal is to get to the 4th one and start performing as a team. Well, the first step starts with focusing on the one thing. And so find a strategy, use it, stay consistent with it, perfect it. I know in trading, sometimes what I found ourselves doing, we had to figure it out. The first year we had to figure it out. What I found ourselves doing is, man, that didn't work. I'm going to go do this now. Oh, that didn't work. I'm going to go do this now. That didn't work. I'm going to go do this now. Find the one thing and master it. Master it, whatever it is. And then once you master, you create a clear and concise system. And so when building a team, when we talk about forming, in the forming stages of building a team, this is during the stage when people are trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure out what you're doing. What is the system? I'm talking about what is your product? That's the forming stages. What are you going to use as a team? Now, I'm not saying you have to force people to use a certain thing. If someone in your organization has something going on already and it's working, let them stay there. See, I'm going to talk about, I believe everyone on here, you have to start acting as if you're already a Chairman 500. You have to believe that you already have chairman in your organization that are going to operate out of independence. That's what I'm looking for, independence. And so if they have a system going on, let them be. But when you start, create a system that is going to span throughout your whole team. Us personally, we're using the ECC11 strategy. So here's what it looks like. In the forming stage, pick a product. The next one is the storming stage. I'm going to tell you, you might be going through this right now, where you have a lot of different people in the organization trying to figure it out. You have this Telegram group. Maybe they're trying to trade and do this. You have this person using Go. You have this person doing this. That's the storming phase where leadership is trying to develop. They don't know what they're doing yet, but they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to make the money. They're trying to go. This is where you come in and you guide and you direct focus. And once you have that focus directed, you start into the norming phase. The norming phase is when leadership is accepted. Maybe you might be the leader. Maybe there's someone else in the pack. Maybe you have several leaders, but when there's norms that are accepted, this is what we're doing. This is the strategy that we're going. This is the movement that's happening. You know, out in the field, in the military, you know, we can't go in different directions. We have to align ourselves with the same mission. Well, guess what? Our mission in IML is to get 1 million customers. We have to go in the same direction. So in your organization, you have to find and go in the same direction so that you are speaking the same language. So if I come to a market that I built an organization in, they know exactly when I come there, I shouldn't even have to show up with anything. I know they're doing the same exact thing. I know we're doing the same exact presentation. I know that we have everything in line and leadership is speaking the same. Those are called norms. And then after norms comes performing. So now I'm gonna talk about building a team. I'm gonna talk about what happened to me in my first 60 and 90 days in network marketing in general. And me and my wife were just so grateful and happy that we've had just great mentors come in our life. And I'll tell you, I was the introverted guy when I started inside this industry. I could figure it out. You know, I could do all type of tech stuff. I was a pilot, you know, understood instruments, checklists, all that. But when it came to talking in front of people, that wasn't my thing. But I remember having one of my first millionaire mentors show up in my market because I was dropping a lot of people in the system, but I just didn't know, you know, how to create the system to build network marketing. But I knew how to get them in the system. I got to my first level in my first year of network marketing, got to my first residual income level on my own. And I remember my mentor just showing up in the market. And that first time he showed up in the market, he did several things that happened. One was build a relationship, build some rapport. And when he showed up in the market, he had one goal in mind: to develop a leader to multiply that business. And I remember him coming inside the market and he says, Randy, okay, I'm gonna do a big time presentation for you. I just need you to have this set up and this set up and this set up. And that first time I seen that presentation, I was in awe. Like I could understand why he made 7 figures. Powerful. And you may have felt that way before too. You may be sitting in the room where there's someone who speaks very well. You're like, man, now I see why they're successful. But you understand the journey that they went through to get there. See, I understand in order to grow, you have to get uncomfortable. Well, let me tell you where my uncomfort happened 6 years ago. When my mentor showed up, I remember the first day I seen him, I was in awe of his presentation. And then the next day, literally, because he couldn't waste any time, he goes, I'm going to actually throw you up in front of the room. And I remember telling myself I wasn't going to do it inside. But the personality that I was, I wanted everything that this guy had. And so I got up in front of the room and I remember just being horrible in that presentation. But you know what happened? Right after he built me up, and I kept doing it over and over again when he left the market. That same system, all I did was put some words to it, and I'm going to teach you that system of how over the past 16 months, not only did we hit the level of Chairman 25, we're just getting started. There are people that are following behind us that pop Platinum 1000, which I think is the bread and butter rank in this company. Platinum 2000, 5000. And I know over the next several months, you're going to see chairman after chairman pop. You're seeing this in iMarkets Live. There are a lot of leaders who have systems in place where they focus on a certain thing. We're going to teach you how to focus on a certain thing. So I have 6 steps to duplication. The number 1 step, identify a leader. Okay? Now, you might be brand new, so identify a leader. You might see someone on your team, that's going to be your leader for right now. But I want you to write down these steps. Number 1, identify a leader. See, I believe the most important person on your team today is the last person who just signed up. It doesn't have to be someone that you personally enrolled. It can be your best friend's friend that you didn't know. Your goal, number 2. Number 2 is to build rapport. See, what I've learned about network marketing is the only thing that will ever be residual in your life are relationships. Hear this closely, because when you have to go do this for a second time, you will understand if you have to do it for a second time. Relationships are residual. So building rapport, what does that look like? Understand what their purpose is. What do they want out of iMarkets Live? How many kids do they have? What drives them? What makes them tick? Why are you doing iMarkets Live? Are you trading? Do you want to build a legacy? What is it? Find out what their why is, why they're doing this, and then you help them go accomplish it. Build rapport, learn who they are, and be sincere about it. Because that is the only thing that will remain residual in your life and in your business. See, me and my wife, we were fortunate that when we switched over, that was residual. We had people that really loved us. Some came over, some didn't. But that kitchen table talk that my wife talked about, we had a lot of those. We were sincere. We built the rapport, true friendship. That is what's going to remain in your business. Number 3, once you build that rapport, you challenge them. This is the biggest part. I see a lot of us, we baby our folks. and we try to walk them through everything. This is not the babying game when it comes to building. You're trying to prioritize and look for leaders instantly. You're going to challenge the person that you get on the phone with. You're going to tell them, if you put in this many, or if you get to platinum 600, or if you get to platinum 1000, depending on what your investment is, I guess you can say, how far they are. So if you get to platinum 1000, I'll show up in your market. You challenge them. Number 4, and when they meet the challenge, you make sure you show up. That's one of the biggest parts, because you can show up too late. As soon as they meet your challenge, I want you to show up within a week or 2 weeks into their market. This is for those that are truly building. I'm not talking about, not like building over there. I'm talking about this is offline building. You're showing up in their market because you're about to develop a leader. And that is the only thing that is going to multiply your business. Addition is going to make your business go backwards. Multiplication is going to beat every problem that you have. We got back office problems. We alleviate with multiplication. That's how we get past. How many leaders do you have on your team? Here's how you know. Does your back office still move forward when you take a day off? If it does not, you have not multiplied yet. You're still in the addition phase. So number 4, show up, because now is the time to develop a leader. Number 5, this is the one. You're going to build through, build with, so they can build for you. How does it look? Let's say that I show up in London, for example. I have a leader there that hit platinum 1000. I said I was going to show up. I do. The first thing, I'm going to talk to them, build a rapport. We'll talk a little bit, talk about what they want, their why, what's the next level, put them on track. All right, you want to become a chairman? All right, who do you know? Who's in the market? Tell me about your leaders. And here's what I'll tell you. This is very important. When you identify your first leader and you go into their market, your sole goal is to find 3 leaders inside their organization and do the same 6 steps that I'm talking about. You're going to identify them, build rapport. See, when you identify 3 leaders before that, below that initial leader, if something happens, then you still got 3 to build. Let's say that leader something happens to that leader. Well, you can still build the organization, or better yet, you've built rapport with the downline of your organization, folks. Listen to me. See, there's time people quit every single day for sometimes no reason. Struggle overtakes them. Defeat overtakes them. You find 3 in the downline. You build rapport. Guess what? You have now built an organization. You've now started multiplying. You've now built through your leaders. Everyone starts off as a build through. But here's the issue that I found. We have our best friend that we put all of our hopes in. We have that one person we put all of our hopes in. And then they don't do the right things or something happens. But we didn't build any type of relationships with anybody in their downline, so it just disappeared. I'm telling you, a strand of 3 is going to be tight, and it will never go away. So build through, and then start building with. Drive around. Start having that windshield time. Start having those table talks. Build, like it's business, but it's also building rapport at the same time. And then lastly, here's the biggest part. I don't start counting signups until I leave the market. See, when you're inside that room, it's not the time to be presentation man or woman. It's the time to build up your leaders. So here's what it looks like when I do start building up my leaders and developing right on the spot. I go in, I do the first big presentation. The second presentation, I might do the second one. The third one, they're definitely hopping in on the first half of the presentation. Listen to me, folks. You have to present to become a leader. I hear some folks say, well, I don't want to have to present. I want to have to talk to people. I'm telling you, in this industry, you have to talk to people. You have to get in front of the room. I was an introvert. I hated being in front of the room, but I got good at it. And I got unconsciously good at it. There are sometimes I can do the presentation almost sleepy. Why? Because I've done it thousands of times. If you want to lead, now is your time to get uncomfortable. What I was told before, the more uncomfortable you get, the bigger your bank account gets. This is your time to get uncomfortable. And so that third time, I'm throwing my leader in the front of the room. They may E it high and be like, I don't know, I don't want to do it. No, you're going to do the first half. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. You might have got things that you're like, oh, here's what I'm telling you. This is the most important part. As you're twiddling your finger, you're watching them present. Just know that you are building up a leader at the same time. When they get done with that, you finish up the second half, you clean it up, whatever you need to do. And then afterwards, the table talk is the most important. You build them up. See, I believe that your paycheck represents how many people you've built up. How many people have you made confident? When they get done with that presentation, you tell them, you give them some critique, some healthy critique. Not that they sucked, not that was a horrible presentation. Man, that was awesome. I remember the first time I did a presentation, I sucked. I was sweating the entire time. I drenched out my shirt. You killed that thing. But here's some things that you can apply there. Here's where you can be better. I see you being way better than when I started. You're building them up. So when you leave the market, they are going to continue to present. They're going to continue to fill up rooms. And you're also going to edify them as the leader in that market along with the other three. So that when you leave, you can count those signups. Folks, this is not a philosophy. This has happened. This is what we are doing in our business. This is how we're popping Platinum 1000 after Platinum 1000 after Platinum 1000. I like the system that David and Menitier has where, if you don't have that sheet, I think it's powerful where, go put 15 folks in the system, identify 3, build 10 to Chairman 1000. I'm to Platinum 1000. That's a powerful system. That's automatic. That's pretty much what we're doing. When you go to a market, that is the multiplication. You're getting them to present. And then lastly, they start building for you. And you count those signups when you leave that market. Now, when you leave that market and signups don't happen, doesn't mean you're not going to go back. It just means that you got to go identify and do it again. That's it. And then number 6, cast vision. I think that's the most part. You see, one by the name of Helen Keller, she says, a person with eyesight with no vision perishes. Period. You got to have vision. Who can you fit inside your vision? Are you trying to become a Chairman 100, Chairman 500, Chairman 250? How many folks can you fit in your vision? The company's vision to put in 1 million customers by 2020. Is your vision big enough to fit in the company's vision? Are you looking to become a chairman or just Platinum 600? If you're looking to become a Platinum 600, you can't fit anybody else in your vision except 12 customers. And so you cast the vision for the market and you keep on saying it. Now, here's what I learned. If you haven't read the book, Think and Grow Rich, I was just reading this thing again. They said out of 500 successful men and women in the world, in America, they said when they became successful, it was at the point where they felt the greatest defeat at which they became successful. They fought through it. Folks, we've been tried in this company. Yes, there were back office issues. Yes, things were happening. Maybe you're on a correction right now. I'm going to tell you, I get fired up every time it happens. Every time there's a correction, I get fired up. You know why? Because I know there's always a continuation about to happen. And you got to fight back. We don't have time to get in our feelings. You are one of the greatest and biggest companies in the industry right now, and you got to see it. iMarkets Live, I'll tell you, is creating 6-figure earner after 6-figure earner after 6-figure earner, and you just have to keep on fighting for it. You have to keep on going for it. I'll tell you right now, I am grateful and happy to be a part of a company where we are fixing problems along the way. If you want to become a chairman, it's done. Here's what I employ everybody to do right now. Here's our marching orders. We have a little bit over 90 days to the next event. The IM event is happening September 13th, September 14th through the 17th. If you haven't got your tickets yet, get your tickets because we have a little bit over 90 days. I'm going to employ everybody on here. Let's all go for a 90-day run. I challenge you over the next 90 days to personally sponsor 15 new customers and help 3 get the Platinum 150. You can do that.
Easy work.
And after that, like the whole system say, help 10 of them get to Platinum 1000.
Easy work.
And then the goal is to pop chairman after chairman after chairman after chairman. And one day there's going to be somebody walking across that stage thanking you for elevating them, for having the vision to push them, for fitting their dreams in your dream.
Right.
But it ain't going to be easy. There's going to be some correction. There's going to be some things that happen. And you're going to have to get motivated every time it happens. Every time you get that correction, get more fired up because a big, long continuation happened.
Let's go.
I'm going to tell you, last year, when we came in to this company around January, like I said, I expect to hit Chairman 100 literally 4 or 5 months. We put 35,000 customers in our last organization. I thought it was going to be easy. We were trucking along. Boom, chairman 10, 60 days. Look for chairman 25. Oh, correction. And I like to say that I was cool, calm, and collected, but I wasn't. I was frustrated just like everybody else. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to speak to someone right now. I was frustrated. I was at the point of defeat. And to tell you the truth, I quit for about a week mentally. I quit for a week mentally. And then I woke up one day and said, nah, you ain't taking me out like this. This company comp plan is too good. Nah. See, I know there's something big coming. And what happened is, during the time that most people set back, I start fighting back. I start traveling to Africa. I start traveling to all my markets. I start taking more action. You see, during the times that you feel defeated, you don't do what the mind says do. The mind says go to sleep. Yeah. The mind says quit. Yeah. The mind says, I don't want you to feel pain. I want you to be protected. So it tells you to quit so the pain goes away. That's not what you do. You fight back. 10 drop out of the system, you're going to find 20 more to put in. Let's go. The back office ain't acting right, you keep fighting back, you go put more in. Yeah. Folks, I get it. When you hear that, I used to get pissed when I hear people go put more in. But I'm telling you right now, what happened to us during that time of us fighting was from August all the way up to about October. I'm fighting and fighting and fighting. And putting the numbers in, numbers dropping off. Putting numbers in, numbers dropping off. You know what happened in January? That continuation happened. January 2019, that continuation happened. So what I'm telling you right now, sometimes you don't see what you're fighting for because it's not in the physical. But if you fight long enough, your goals and everything you've been looking for is going to bend to your will. That's right. But you got to be around to get it. I just seen someone post 3 feet from goal. Man, it is so true. You see, it's at that point where most people quit that their goal was just right there. I'm telling folks, this is not the time to bend. This is the time to fight. 1 million customers, period, point blank. And so, folks, before I end this, I'm going to just tell you a story that I hope to stick with you. My wife, she always laughs at me because I love to tell the story, but it's in my head because it tells you this is the time to take action. The frogs, there's 5 frogs hopping through the woods. And as these 5 frogs are hopping, 2 of them fall into a large pit. And when they fall into that pit, the other 3 frogs are looking down into that pit. And the 2 frogs that fell into the deep pit, they're realizing how deep it is, but they're trying to hop out because if they don't hop out, they're going to die. And so the other frogs are seeing how deep it is also. And they're like, just stop, your good is dead. And while those frogs are hearing that, they're hopping harder and harder. And they're yelling louder and louder from the outside. Just stop, your good is dead. And the frogs hop harder and harder. And then they says, yell one more time, just stop, your good is dead. And then one of the frogs takes heed and stops. But then the other frog says, man, I ain't dying here. He keeps on hopping. And as he hops harder, they yell louder. As he hops harder, they just continually yell louder. Eventually, he hops so hard that he's able to hop out of that pit. And when he hops out, the other frogs gather around him and they say, how did you do that? And he looks at him, he says, thank you guys for cheering me on. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have hopped out of that pit. And they said, we weren't cheering you on. We were telling you to stop. Your good is dead. And as he's reading their lips, he said, oh, I thought you were cheering me on. I'm deaf. See what I'm saying, folks? Sometimes you got to allow negativity to fall on deaf ears. Allow your haters to become your motivators. Your naysayers to become your participators. Those on standby to want to hop into the fight with you. Because why? Because you're taking action. When things are not going your way, take action. It is the only thing that will keep you relevant. Take action, take action, take action. And that is the only thing that will get you to the top. Let's go, folks. That is our chairman mentorship call. All I know is taking actions. We have a little bit over 90 days to the I Am event. Get your tickets, get everything, get your team there. And I pray that you are walking across that stage and that your team is living abundantly. Let's go. Let's get it. Come on, baby.
Let's go, Marcus Live. It's our season. It's our winning season. Where my chairman's at? If you're going to walk chairman by September, let me see that.
Come on.
Let's go.
I I am chairman. Let's go.
I am chairman.
I am chairman. Let's go. I see you.
Woo! I am chairman. Let's go, baby. We love you. You got this. 90 days. 90 days. Separate yourself from the masses. Let's take action. Who's going to get off this call and make a phone call? Who's going to get off this call and do an online presentation? Who's going to get off this call and knock on their neighbor's door? Come on.
I am chairman. You are chairman. Let's go. We are walking a gang of chairmen by the I Am event. Let's go, and you're one of them.
Love it.
Let's go. That's our call, folks. Peace.